So I'm going to be discussing how these square tile manipulatives can be used to teach area and perimeter. This 100 board chart would be substituted for a centimeter graph paper, and each square on the centimeter graph paper is 1 centimeter, and the students would draw the figures they make onto that paper. We'll explain that in a minute. So you would start off by giving the students a set number of tiles. For example, we'll start off with 4. The student would be given 4 tiles, and they would be asked to make as many different shapes as possible using these 4 tiles. So the students would get creative, and they'd come up with all the different ways that they can make shapes using 4 tiles. And the one requirement for this is that a whole side of the tile must be touching another. So diagonals like that, those don't count, not in any direction. So they must be completely touching on one side. So these would be all the different ways that a student could make a shape using 4 tiles. Students may also come up with shapes like this and ask if that's okay, because it is, it's exactly the same, it's just flipped. So it's up to the teacher's discretion whether they want to use this or not, if they want to allow it to count. What you're going to come to find is that the area and the perimeter of these 2 shapes are exactly the same, but it might help the students when they're creating their shapes to use all the different ones possible, because you know that would be a reflection of this one. And then if there was a rotation as well, it's going to have the same area and perimeter. So you can decide whether you want your students to let those count or not. So you would first explain to the students how, you would ask the students after they created their shapes if they notice if the area changes. And the area is the number of square tiles that the students use. And you notice for each of these that there's always 4. So the area for all of these is going to equal 4. That is going to be for all of them. And then for the perimeter, how you're going to find the perimeter is you're going to count the outside units around each shape. So you would have, for the first square, 4 tiles, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The perimeter would equal 8. And then you'd ask the students what they noticed about the perimeter. If it changes with the different shapes, and you're going to come to find out that it does change throughout each different shape, because we can count the area for this one, or the perimeter for this one. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The perimeter for this is greater than the previous one, and it's going to be 10. Then you can ask the students to create a shape or find out which shape has the largest perimeter. And the students can go around and count and find which shape has the largest perimeter. And then you can have them find out which one has the least. And this allows for the students to figure out how to count and find perimeter and area without using formulas. Because formulas are often found to be confusing and misunderstood or misinterpreted. With this hands-on activity, you can build on the students' concept knowledge by giving them a new number of tiles. For example, 9. So you could give the students 9 tiles and ask them the same questions you did with the 4, which would be, make all the different shapes you can with 9 tiles. And the students will come to find out that they can make another perfect square. Just as they did with the 4 tile, they made a perfect square. And the students will notice that when you ask them the questions such as, does the area change, which has the smallest perimeter, which has the largest, they'll notice that the perfect square makes the smallest perimeter, just as the perfect square of the 4 tiles made the smallest perimeter in that case as well. So that's a higher order thinking question. The students will be able to understand that in any case, with any given number of tiles, that if it comes out to make a perfect square, it's going to have the smallest number, it's going to have the smallest perimeter. So if you wanted to count it with the students, you could. The perimeter for this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whereas if you made another shape, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, with 9 tiles, it's going to have a larger perimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This perimeter of this shape is going to be 18, whereas this was 12. But the areas are still going to be the same. The area is in both of these shapes is going to be 9. There are many different ways that teachers and students can use these tiles and a centimeter graph paper to understand the concepts of area and perimeter that don't involve using the formulas. These hands-on activities help students be actively involved in their learning, and especially mathematics, using hands-on activities can really help facilitate their learning and understanding of concepts. So you can use these tiles in many different ways. Not even if you wanted to do something other than area and perimeter, these tiles can be used. So you can figure out your own way to use them.